So what makes me reach for a certain workout shoe? What makes me gravitate towards a certain pair? Well, it's usually down to comfort, potentially the weight, but most importantly, something I'm going to go out there, build some confidence in and have some fun. What is up guys, Andy Forrest Team Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and this is my most used top 5 workout shoes of 2022. So the rules for this are simple. Just like in my top 5 most used long run shoes of 2022, I've been through my Strava training log. I've selected every single midweek workout. I've found the shoes that I've used, totaled up the mileage, and I have the results here to share with you. And before I share them with you, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what your favorite workout shoe has been this year. Whether you're training for longer distance or shorter distance, I'd love to hear what you've gravitated towards, what's been your favorite release, and what have you reached for on those speed days. Let everyone know down in the comments, and yeah, let's get this one underway with shoe number 5. So if you're excited for this video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Let's kickstart. I'm propping up the list, I think just like in the long run video, or at least it was in the long run video, is the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. Now bearing in mind this year I've done speed work, I then did a summer of marathon training, I'm now back on speed work. This thing got into the list due to its usage in the marathon training section of the year. My midweek workouts, a lot of them were done in this shoe. Why? Because it's such a good shoe, a great confidence builder. I've talked so much about the shoe this year and how much improvement it's made from when I tested the version 1, didn't test the version 2, but I know they were very similar. This is a big step forward. It's a great confidence boosting shoe for me. I love running in it. I feel light, I feel fast, and it is just super smooth. In fact, it's the closest shoe that I've found to the original Next Percent out of any of the other super shoes that I've tried, and I love the original Next Percent. So this one comes in for its usage during marathon training. I think it was in those marathon paced intervals, sometimes some of the faster K-rep stuff, but mainly in and around that goal marathon pace. And in at number 4 is the Nike Zoom Fly 5, and I will tell you the mileage and the number of runs in this one. Hopefully I'll have overlaid it on the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, but this one has 7 runs, so one more than the Endorphin Pro 3, and this has 78.5 miles in it. Now, this one came into the rotation slightly earlier in the year, and yes, it was used in a multitude of ways during marathon training, but also when I was doing a lot of double threshold work. So the Brooks Hyperion Tempo, which you'll see later in this list, is used a lot for a lot of those slightly faster than marathon pace, half marathon paced efforts, and sometimes down to 10k pace work. Just a great all-round shoe to cover that. The Zoom Fly came in to share some of that mileage. That combined with some longer marathon pace miles is where this thing picked up. Now, this goes against the grain of what I said in the intro when I'm talking about maybe something lightweight. This is a pretty heavy and clunky shoe. We know it, we've talked about it a lot, we won't go over it again, but I found with this one what the massive plus was for me was the efficiency I found in it, and also just how comfortable it was. So when I'm logging those longer miles, that's where this thing came into its own. It's not something I would ever consider reaching for in a VO2 max type session or something really short and sharp, but it is something that I found really useful for those longer, slightly faster than or at goal marathon pace. And in at number 3 is the Nike Next Percent 2 with 8 runs in it and 85.4 miles. Now this one is a little bit more versatile for me, and interestingly, if you notice, the first 3 shoes in this list are carbon plated shoes. One's a training partner to the races, the other 2 are racing shoes. Now the reason I've been using the Next Percent 2 quite a bit is because, as much as I enjoy it, I do feel it's a little bit of a downgrade from version 1, but it's still a fantastic shoe, and it's been a staple in my training rotation. Yes, in marathon training, but I also reach for this for faster stuff. So where I've just talked about the Zoom Fly 5 might not be suitable for that shorter, faster work, I have actually gravitated towards the Next Percent 2 for some of those 2-minute kilometer repeat 4-minute intervals. I just find them to be really good, and I like to practice sort of that race pace and that race feeling, because often I have a fresh pair of Next Percent 2s that I might wear in a race, and I have my training pair, which is where all of these miles have been logged. It's a blue pair, over 200 miles in them now, and they're holding up really well. So I think from memory, from looking, they were really quite equally split between some longer marathon pace miles, but also a lot of shorter intervals as well. A very versatile pair of shoes. And in at number 2 is the Brooks Hyperion Tempo with a whopping 15 runs and 146 miles. So not quite double third place's mileage, but it is getting up there. And these top 2 are absolute runaway winners. Why is that? Because the Brooks Hyperion Tempo Tempo? Well, I guess I could continue to repeatedly tell you guys how much I love it. I'm not going to. It's an incredible shoe. Best non-plated shoe out there. And this is the first non-plated shoe in the list, which hopefully gives you an indication that I do like to run in non-plated shoes. This had the bulk of the mileage done during my double threshold days, plus before that, when I was doing, I think really they started in around April and May when I started getting into double threshold work, but I use them and I love to use them in and around marathon pace, half marathon pace and 10K pace. That is just this shoe's sweet spot. It took the majority of my morning double threshold day workouts. Similarly, when I got into marathon training, it took a lot of the special block morning runs as well, and it just clocked up a phenomenal amount of mileage. I just, on that double threshold day, woke up and went, Brooks Hyperion Tempo. I'm pretty confident if I went back through all of the stuff in my training log and worked out the percentages, you'd probably find that over 90% of those morning double threshold runs were done in this shoe. I can't speak highly enough of it, and the stats prove it. And speaking of stats proving why a shoe should be a worthy winner, the Nike Streak Fly comes in at first place. 32 runs, 299 miles, give or take. It's probably just crept over 300. Double the mileage, double the volume of runs, or just over double. What a shoe. This thing has come in to my rotation this year and absolutely blown me away. I've explained this before. I bought the prototype colorway version myself with my own money. Nike very kindly sent me the main release colorway back in April. So I have two pairs of the shoes. I've retired the first pair, I'm on to the second pair, and between the two, I have clocked up a massive 32 runs in them. Why? Because for me, as a non-plated shoe, for clarification, they have a mid-foot shank in there just for stabilization. It's not a plate, it doesn't aid you in any way. It's just to give you a bit of stabilization with that Zoom X midsole. It is just such a good short distance shoe. You do all the work. It's one of those shoes, I liken it to the Liberate Nitro, potentially the Rebel 3. Just a shoe that's relatively low stack, soft and cushioned, but something that you are doing all of the work in. A foot strengthener, a leg strengthener, everything you want. You don't want to always be running in these high stack cushioned shoes. It's just not good for you to be doing that every single run. You want to chuck these in your rotation once a week and use them, build up that strength. You do all the work. I come away from some workouts in the Streak Fly and go, that was an all right workout. And then I go, actually, I did all the work there. I didn't have any plates helping me. That was full 100% me. And then I go, actually, that wasn't a bad workout at all. It's one of those shoes that I just gravitate towards every single time. If it's a VO2 max workout, if it's short distance 10K intervals, even sometimes up to half marathon stuff. I was doing it for a bit longer stuff in the summer. Some runs clocking up to 12 miles in it. It has been an absolute gem. So how about that? The stats speak for themselves. Those top two absolutely running away with it. And I think that shows to you that those two shoes, the Brooks Hyperion Tempo and the Nike Streak Fly, have absolutely run away with it this year for me and been an absolute dream pair of workout shoes. I know when I wake up on a Monday morning and I look at what I've got on my schedule and what I've got planned, my workouts are covered with the majority of runs with those two shoes. Absolutely brilliant. Can't speak highly enough of them. And that's why I asked you guys in the intro to drop your favorite shoes down below. Have you had a pair like I've had that have just worked so well for you? Let me know. Or just the one shoe or three of them, whatever. Have you got that rotation for your speed work that have just blown all the others out of the water? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. That's it from me today, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and you missed the long run one, go and check out the long run video up there, and I'll chuck another shoe video down there for you to go and check out, and stay tuned over the next couple of weeks for the Running Shoe Awards 2022. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Until then.